Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Let's talk about the other monetary benefit from the VA, not disability compensation. And this other monetary benefit that you could potentially qualify for can pay out $2,727 or even more in some cases per month. Ongoing. Okay, this isn't an education benefit or anything like that. This is called VA pension. I want to dive into it to kind of, explain it so people understand. I believe that in some cases, there might be folks out there that have lower disability compensation payments. Maybe you're in the 20-30% range. And given your life circumstances, you might be better off if you can qualify for VA pension. So I want to go through this, share it with you as an awareness piece so folks understand what's going on out there, what kind of benefits are available, how they work. And oh, by the way, VA pension is also able to be received by surviving spouses, right? So this is a great benefit that is also something that transcends the veteran, right? So a qualifying surviving spouse could also obtain VA pension. So with that, at the beginning, I'm going to focus on the veteran and veteran eligibility, and then we'll slide over to surviving spouses as well. So with that, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really, really appreciate it. The 2 asks, let the video run and hit the thumbs up. That is what tells YouTube to send this to other folks. Collectively, we can do that, right? If you have the time. If you want to support the channel in other ways, consider being a member. You can do that by going to the homepage. You'll see highlighted members and a join button. Thank you so much to all you members. I truly appreciate your support. It means the world to me. I do my best to get back to your comments and acknowledge them. All right, so let's jump into this. Eligibility for veterans pension. Now, again, I already told you that the payout can be upwards, on the high situation, and it could go higher than this, over $2,700 per month for VA pension. But I want to read through it because there's some quirky calculations, it's kind of like a tongue twister, that you need to be aware of, and we'll just jump into it. So eligibility for veterans pension. The Veterans Pension Program provides monthly payments to wartime veterans. Now I'm going to stop there. Wartime veterans does not mean combat veterans. Distinction. So wartime veterans, you had to have served during a recognized war time. Okay, you could have been in San Diego, right, California the whole time, and that's fine. So let's move on. So the Veterans Pension Program provides monthly payments to wartime veterans who meet certain age or disability requirements and who have income and net worth within certain limits. Find out if you're eligible for this benefit. I typically call it a low and no income type of a safety net program. So if you fall in kind of the lower income realms for whatever reason, you could potentially qualify. So moving on. Am I eligible for veterans pension benefits? You may be eligible if you meet these requirements. Both of these must be true. And so it's you did not receive a dishonorable discharge, and your yearly family income and net worth meet certain limits set by Congress. Okay, so this is an important piece. This is a means-tested benefit versus your disability compensation, which is completely different, solely based on your disabilities, and they give you on a monthly payment, and barring TDIU, it doesn't really matter. You can go earn any sort of income. This is an income-based benefit, and they also couple in their net worth, right? Somebody who has $1 million of net worth would not qualify, right? So anyway, moving on here, it says your net worth includes all personal property you own except your house, your car, and most home furnishings, minus any debt you owe. Your net worth includes the net worth of your spouse, so if you're married. All right, moving on, and at least one of these must be true about your service. Okay, so this is the service qualifier here with regard to that wartime service. So if you started on active duty before September 8th, 1980, and you served at least 90 days on active duty with at least 1 day during wartime, or you started on active duty as an enlisted person after September 7th, 1980, and you served at least 24 months, so a 2-year time period now. You served at least 2 years active duty, or the full period for which you were called or ordered to active duty, with some exceptions, with at least 1 day during wartime. So again, there's 2 qualifiers there. It's the length of active duty, and then it's the 1 day of during a actual war period. So the first one, which was before September 8th, 1980, was a 90-day service requirement of active duty with 1 day wartime. The after September 7th, 1980, is at least 24 months of, or the full period for which we're called or ordered to active duty with at least 1 day during wartime. The last bullet point here: you were an officer and started on active duty after October 16th, 1981, and you hadn't previously served on active duty for at least 24 months. Next one here says, and at least one of these must be true. So there's 4. So now we got it so far, right? Honorable discharge, right? So not a dishonorable discharge. Net worth and income requirements. 1 day during a wartime period with a total service, depending on your time period, of either a 90-day or 2-year time period. And then one of these things must be true. You're at least 65 years old. Okay, if you're not 65 years old, then what's the next option here, right? Next option is you have a permanent and total disability. This does not mean a service-connected permanent and total disability, because then you would be getting, $4,000 a month, which is more than what this would pay, and it would not make you qualify with that income. So you must have a permanent and total disability. The example there is you got out of the military, 15 years later, something in your life happened, and now you have a permanent and total disability. Next is you're a patient in a nursing home. So if you have a loved one, or if you are a patient in a nursing home, or if you know a veteran, right? A loved one, relative, whoever who's in a nursing home who is a veteran, they may qualify as well. So if you're a patient in a nursing home for long-term care because of a disability, or you're getting Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, that's Social Security Disability Insurance, or SSI, which is Supplemental Security Income. If you're receiving any of those, that's also a qualifier. And remember, one of these must be true. So you're either at least 65 years old, or you have a permanent and total disability of some sort, or you're a patient in a nursing home for long-term care, or you're receiving Social Security Disability Insurance or Supplemental Security Income. Now remember that one of the qualifiers was that income that we talked about, right? Your income kind of limit. So an income limit takes into account your Social Security Disability Insurance or Supplemental Security Income and that type of stuff. So it's important to understand that you could have 2 people that both qualify for pension with the same, family circumstances, the same aid and attendance requirements and so forth, but one is receiving, we'll say, Social Security Disability Insurance, and the other is not receiving anything for whatever reason, right? The person not receiving anything will get a higher VA pension rate than the person receiving Social Security Disability Insurance, because they'll offset that amount, kind of like what happens to, sadly, the folks that were medically discharged, right? It's an offset that occurs. So let's move on a little bit further here. The VA outlines all of the recognized war periods. So if you need to look to see if you crossed a threshold, I'll put that in the description. It goes on here to talk about the dollar figures and give some examples. Now, I'm not going to, my suggestion here is, if you think you qualify here already in some way, you're definitely going to want to, in my opinion, talk with an accredited representative if you can. That accredited representative can help you submit the claim. These are a little more complex. There's some ability to take a portion of your income and kind of bring it down based on certain expenses that you have to care for yourself regarding medical type stuff. So there is some work that needs to be done on this application. Now, the basic way to think about it is, let's say, for example, you're receiving $1,000 per month from Social Security, right? Either SSI or SSDI. Okay, $1,000 per month from that Social Security source. So that's $12,000 a year. Well, for example, let's say that you qualify for, let's say, $27,000. So $27,000 per year is what you qualify for. Then they go, okay, well, your income is currently 12. So instead of 27, they're going to subtract 12 from the 27, taking you down to $15,000. So then what will happen will be the VA would then pay you out $15,000 per year, broken down onto a monthly basis. Let's see what that number is. Bear with me here. So in that example, $15,000 of pension broken down over a monthly basis is $1,250 per month. $1,250 per month. Now here's the question. Let's say that you could either go pension or you can go service disability, service compensation for service-connected disabilities, right? And you get a rating of even 50%, right? 50% rating, and let's say that you can't work anymore, that type of stuff. You get a rating at 50% between several conditions. That's $1,075 per month. Now, if you're not working and your only source of income would be either VA disability compensation or VA pension, if your pension was going to be $1,250 per month, or you can go compensation at $1,075 per month, you can see that there's a difference there. Obviously, that would be magnified if you had a lower rating, right? If you were at 30% rating, that's $524 as a veteran alone. So $524 per month, or in the pension example, $1,250. Now, it can also go the other way. Let's say that you're able to get your compensation up to 60 or 70%. You could potentially parlay that over to TDIU, total disability, individual unemployability, and get paid out at 100%. And now you're looking at, nearly $4,000 per month. So, the play can be a bunch of different ways. You just need the knowledge to figure out what is the best way. You can also be on pension and start working to develop and get your disability claims in order, and maybe eventually transition over to the disability compensation realm. Or if you think you're going to be able to work at some point, then you would have to slide over to disability compensation so you could actually earn some more money without having the offset. The breaking more than even in this situation would be 60%. If you're able to get to 60% on this example, 60% disability rating is $1,361 versus the example I gave for pension, where you're receiving $1,000 per month from your Social Security disability, and then you're getting $15,000 per year, $1,250 from per month from the VA for pension. The $1,250 versus the $1,361, well, you're getting $111 more if you go service-connected compensation. So anyway, just wanted to run those real quick. Let me give you some examples out of the VA's website. It says here, current veterans disability compensation rates, and this changes with COLA as well. So those are the ones that I just rounded off to you. So I'm going to go to pension here. So Pension, and I'm going to kind of skim through it a little bit. Again, you should absolutely work with an accredited rep if this is a road you want to go down, and just see what the numbers would look like. So VA aid and attendance rates also can apply. Housebound can apply. So let's jump into it. Review current VA pension rates for veterans, including VA aid and attendance rates. If you qualify for these benefits, we'll base your payment amount on the difference between your income for VA purposes and a limit that Congress sets called the maximum annual pension rate, or MAPR. Now, in order to get the maximum allowable pension rate, you need to have zero other countable income. Okay, zero. No income, then you can receive the maximum allowable pension rate. So, again, if you meet one of those qualifiers of all the different things that I talked about, the time in service, the wartime period, age 65 would be an example. So if you're 65, for example, and you have no Social Security coming in, you have zero income for whatever reason, then you could qualify potentially for the maximum allowable pension rate. And we'll jump into some of those examples here in a second. So your income for VA purposes is how much you earn, including your Social Security benefits broadly. So it's anything from Social Security. So Social Security benefits, investment and retirement payments, and any income your dependents receive if they're living with you, right? So some expenses like non-reimbursable medical expenses, so medical expenses not covered by your insurance provider, may be reduced from your income for VA purposes. So that's what I was talking about earlier, where if you have qualifying medical expenses that you pay monthly, you would be able to deduct that from your income, thus increasing your maximum amount of VA pension that you can receive. Your maximum allowable pension amount is the maximum amount of pension payable. Your MAPR, maximum allowable pension rate, is based on how many dependents you have, if you're married to another veteran who qualifies for a pension, and if your disabilities qualify you for housebound or aid and attendance benefits. The maximum allowable pension rates are adjusted each year for cost of living increases. You can find your current maximum allowable pension rates on the tables below. So here's an example. You're a qualified veteran with a dependent, a non-veteran spouse, and no children. You also qualify for aid and attendance benefits based on your disabilities. You and your spouse have a combined yearly income of $10,000 per month. Let's say your spouse has the $10,000 per month, not per month, per year. Have a combined yearly income of $10,000 again per year. All right, let's say that's your spouse income, and you have zero. Your MAPR, that's the maximum allowable pension rate amount, is $32,729 per year. Minus out the $10,000, okay, that's the income coming into the household between you and your spouse. So then they're going to reduce the $32,729 maximum allowable to $22,729 and call that your VA pension per year. Then they're going to divide that over a monthly basis and pay you out $1,894 each month. That essentially $1,894, let's see, with a spouse, let's see what that is close to here. So if we look at, all right, so that's very close to the 70% rating with a spouse. So it's essentially the same as compensation at 70% with a spouse, which would be $1,861 per month versus $1,894 through pension per month. So again, depending on circumstances, right? Let's say that you are not rated at 70%. Let's say you're rated at 20%. All of a sudden, or 10%, or you don't even have a rating, right? You didn't document anything. All your files are burned up in the damn records fire back in whenever that was, the 70s. And, so here you are. And you're stuck but now all of a sudden this becomes a viable option. Let's read through this a little bit more. It says here, what's the net worth limit to be eligible for veterans pension benefits from December 1st, 2023 to November 30th, 2024, the net worth limit to be eligible for veterans pension benefits is $155,356. On October 18th, 2018, we changed the way we assess net worth to make the pension entitlement rules clearer. The net worth calculation includes you and your dependents' assets and income for VA purposes. When you apply for veterans pension benefits, you'll need to report all of these assets and income. If your child's net worth is more than the net worth limit, we don't consider them to be a dependent when we determine your pension. Read the following definitions. Assets. Assets include the fair market value of all real estate, the market value of all real and personal property that you own, minus the amount of any mortgages you may have. Real property means any land and buildings you may own. Your personal property assets may include these and other items, investments, antique furniture, boats. Assets don't include, this is important, assets do not include your primary residence, the home where you live most or all of the time. Your car, basic home items like appliances that you wouldn't take with you if you moved to a new house, right? Most people don't rip their stove out and take it to the new house. Annual income for VA purposes. Annual income for VA purposes is the money earned in a year from a job or from retirement or annuity payments. Your annual income for VA purposes may include these and other kinds of income: salary or hourly pay, bonuses, commissions, overtime, tips. We may subtract certain expenses from your annual income when we assess your income for VA purposes and net worth. We call these applicable deductible expenses. They include educational expenses and medical expenses you're not reimbursed for. An example of net worth and eligibility: if you had $121,000 in assets and $14,000 in annual income for VA purposes, then your net worth would be $135,000. This is less than the net worth limit of $155,356, so you would be eligible for VA pension benefits. There is something called a 3-year look back, so you can't transfer all your stuff basically. And then try to apply for pension. There's a 3-year look back. I'm not going to jump into that. Again, work with an accredited representative. That would be a very smart move. Moving on, again, the pension rate is impacted by COLA, so you will get increases there. And I'm going to give a few examples of the maximum allowable pension rate for you here. Let's see. So for veterans with at least one dependent spouse or a child, so with either a dependent spouse or child, you have one dependent and you do not qualify for housebound or aid and attendance benefits. The maximum allowable pension rate is $21,674. Okay, excuse me. So that's per year. You would divide that down and give that your monthly amount. If you qualify for housebound benefits, you're looking at $25,348. If you qualify for aid and attendance benefits, you qualify for up to $32,729 per year. Again, that's the maximum, and remember that they subtract out any countable income from Social Security or from a job, whatever it is, and reduce that $32,729 downward, and then that creates the pension amount. So, with that, I hope that this sheds a little light on VA pension. I know that I did not jump into the spouse version, the surviving spouse version, but we're at 24 minutes now, so I will do that in another video very shortly. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you so much. Have a great one, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.